Welcome to Implement It. It's all about execution. The podcast that will inspire you to turn your ideas into reality. Whether you want to start a business, launch a podcast, or pursue a passion, this podcast will give you the insights and tips you need to succeed. You will hear from successful entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who've executed their ideas and achieved their goals. They will share their stories, their challenges, their successes, and their advice on how to implement your ideas and execute them effectively. This is the podcast for anyone who wants to make things happen. So tune in and get ready to implement it. Today, we have a special treat for you. Our guest is Manish Maheshwari, the co-founder of Fanory, a creator monetization platform and the former head of Twitter India. He is a Sri Ram and Wharton graduate, a TEDx speaker, a Mensa member, and one of India's top 10 innovators. He has worked with giants like P&G, McKinsey, Flipkart, and Network 18. He's also the innovator behind TXT Web, a text-based app store that became one of the world's largest with over 12 million users and 10,000 apps. TXT Web enabled millions of mobile users, especially those with basic phones and no internet access, to access online information via SMS. He is here to share his secrets on how to execute your ideas and achieve your goals. Please give a warm welcome to Manish Maheshwari. Thank you.
Thank you, Aarya. Thank you for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure to talk to young minds and innovators and also creators like you. So it's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So, you've been a part of the digital and technology revolution for more than 2 decades. What ignited your passion for creating Fanory, and how did your journey at Twitter inspire you? How did you draw from the lessons and skills from your experiences at East Timor during your time at Wharton, then Flipkart, Network 18, TXT Web, and Intuit to craft your own platform? How did you acquire and refine these skills, and what tips would you share with budding entrepreneurs?
Well, I think there's a lot of things in that question. So I'm just thinking how to uncouple the different questions you asked and where do I start? So let me start with something more recent, right, as to what I'm doing and what inspired me. And then in telling you about that, I will also talk about some of the lessons I've learned, some of them very doing it the hard way, just by being in the trenches and trying many things. So to start, I currently run a creator monetization platform called Fanory. Essentially, the idea is that, how do we turn creators into micro entrepreneurs? How do we enable them to monetize their craft on their own terms and help them, make their passion into their profession? So that's what we are focused on. Now, the idea for this came during my time at Twitter, right? When you look at platforms like Twitter, or for that matter, even Instagram or YouTube, it's a two-sided platform. On one side, you have users who are consuming content and engaging with the platform. And on the other side, you have creators who are creating content and sharing it on these platforms. But these platforms make money from advertisement, right? So they run ads. And the more users they have and the more ads they can show, they can make more money. So their entire focus, or predominantly their main focus, is to satisfy the user and give them more and more content and engage with them. Therefore, for them, creators are in a way, subservient or less important than the users. And many of these platforms treat creators like vendors, right? I mean, if you look at the very top creators, they may share some revenue with them. For the far majority of them, of the creators, they spend a lot of hard work and time producing amazing content to engage the users, but they don't get paid their fair share. And I saw this problem firsthand because creators used to reach out to me and they used to talk about all the problems they are facing. Because if you think about a creator in a city like Bombay, many of these creators don't even earn enough to pay their regular rent, right? So that's where I sort of got an idea saying, okay, if we could somehow create something that enables creators to be in charge of their own destiny and independent of these platforms monetize their own craft directly, there could be something very, very empowering for them and also very, very great business model as well. So that's we start working on along with two of my co-founders, Saurabh and Azim. In fact, I would give credit of this execution implementation to Saurabh and Azim because they have been leading it from the front and they have been a key source of inspiration for me as well. So that's where the ideas came, right? Now, what are the lessons here, right? I mean, lessons, I would say a couple of lessons. One is always be open. when you do anything, I mean, you don't know what surprise you might come across. So savor the surprises and try to get to the root cause of what is causing what problem and what opportunity it throws up. And how do you then capitalize on that opportunity? Many times we have very tunnel vision, right? We have been given a task, we just focus on that. It's important to focus, but at the same time, you don't know, what else is out there which is bigger than what you're working on. And I think you might hit on something there. So that's a big lesson. And the second is bias for action. If you see something which is not working, if you think something needs to be fixed, don't wait for someone else to go fix it, or don't just assume that it will get fixed on its own. Many times when you're at the cutting edge, you will often be the first person to encounter an opportunity or an idea, and you will have to act on it at that point in time, because things don't wait and time doesn't remain the same. So if you find something which is interesting, please take the time to and the effort to investigate more, understand, and see how you can execute on it in a way that would create value for yourself and for the entire ecosystem. So yeah, let me pause there.
Because a lot of the times what happens is there's so many ideas, but then how do you know which one to pursue? And even if a lot of people get stuck at the idea range, and so just looking at problems or issues in real life or around you, that's a great place to start. So thank you. So more about Fanory. So Fanory is a cutting edge platform that enables creators and fans to interact and support each other, right? But the creator economy is growing rapidly, and there's so many platforms that offer monetization opportunities for creators. So how do you and Fanory differentiate from the competition, and what makes it unique and appealing for both creators and for users and fans?
Yeah, so there you will see in any market there are multiple players, right? I mean, they will try to do different things. The question is, what is your unique angle, and how do you solve a customer problem better than anyone else, right? So the way we define customer problem here is that, first of all, who is our customer? Customer is a creator. What is the customer problem? Predictable and premium income stream. That's the customer problem we are solving, saying, okay, if you're a creator, my problem today is that I don't know how much money I will make this month, and am I getting a good value for my time, right? I mean, for every hour of work, am I getting good return for that work, right? So no, there is no platform out there which is scientifically doing it in a way that it can guarantee them month-on-month income for a given amount of time they can invest in. And also on per hour of time spent, we are giving them the highest monetization, even higher than Patreon in the US, because we exactly know what fans would pay money for, because each of these fans create a wallet with us, and we understand, what is their spending capability, and also we have insights on which kind of creator they would spend money on and for what activity, right? Typically, most of the money is made in going live, on video calls, on DM, and also premium video and experiences. So we exactly know how to match them, and that is where the science and the technology comes in. It's ultimately a technological play where we develop those insights about fan behavior. We also match it with the right creator, and we create this direct channel for monetization in a way that the payment is frictionless and seamless, because the creator, the fans would first put money in a wallet that will be maintained by us, and we have this ecosystem, the entire Fanory ecosystem, where that coin-based wallet can be used to make payments. So that's what distinguishes us from others. Of course, I mean, it's early days for us as well, so I won't say that we have really conquered it and we have arrived. Every day we learn about something new and we are surprised. So we are open to those surprises. And like everyone else out there who is eager to learn, we are also eager to learn and solve it and do it better than other people. And I think that's the fun of doing a startup, that, you're not doing what is tried and tested. You're doing something which is untried and untested. And that is the beauty, right?
Well, in these times, this podcast wouldn't be relevant if I didn't squeeze a short AI snippet. So has AI impacted you at all?
Yeah. So yeah, I think the way I look at AI is that another technology tool that needs to be mastered and leveraged for a customer problem, right? You can't just have a technology and say, hey, I'm doing technology for the sake of technology. The technology has to be in service for a customer problem, right? So if you think about a customer problem in the creator space, at least there are two customer problems, major ones. One is on the content creation. Today, a lot of content creation is done manually by the creators, and they spend countless hours trying to edit a video, create a video, put some subtitles, make it ready for the prime time. And many of these things can can be automated through AI. In fact, it can be done much better than a human assistant. So that's one part of it. The second AI or approach we are looking at is on the platform side is content moderation. How do you ensure that the right content is there for the right reason for the right audience, right? Today, you have human moderation, and we try to also build many other tools. But when we have billions of pieces of content, then any kind of system which is based on human beings cannot scale. And I think my view would be AI is uniquely suited because it not only it can understand content, it can also do rule-based stuff, and it can also improve itself over time. So I think those are the two use cases where I see that AI can be used, and we're already experimenting with many of them. Early days for us again, but I think I'm quite hopeful. At least on the content creation side, I see that some of our top creators are already leveraging many AI tools to create amazing content.
When you're building your MVP, how do you prioritize solving the core problem of your target audience, and how do you avoid adding unnecessary features? So, what nuggets of insight could you share with our audience about paring down and focusing on key features?
Yeah, so I think if you want to be successful, you need to focus on, first of all, a real pain point. Like, what's a real pain point? It is a pain point for which your customer is actively looking for help, right? So in our situation, we found that creators were trying to do different things to monetize their time and their craft, right? I mean, in addition to putting content on social media platforms, they were also going and reaching out to brands. They were trying to do many shows and many events offline. So we knew that monetization is a problem for most of the creators because they are not making enough money, right? And that is why they need to earn a livelihood. So the first rule, look for a real problem. Second is look for a situation where you can solve that problem in a way that is distinctly superior to what is out there and is also sustainable, like in the sense that you can maintain the moat, right? So we, coming from technology and content and social media background, understood this problem way better. And given that we are solving it through technology, we know that we can really scale really fast and also build moats around us. So that's how you have to look at it. Now, at any point in time, you will see like 10 different things you can do. So you'll have to prioritize it based on the following criteria. Number one question, is it a real problem? Is it gonna lead to a big enough impact in the life of your customer? Number three, can you really make a difference in the sense that are uniquely positioned to solve it? And fourth, I mean, your execution capability as well, right? I mean, if you have yes to all four, that is the one to pick up. And usually when you apply those four filters, many of the things fall off the list. So that's what I would do. And then, of course, if you still have a very long list, even after that, like focus on the one which will create the biggest impact. And I think pick one and start working with it. If it works out for you, then there's no looking back. You're going to be very happy. If it doesn't work out, then of course, go to the next one in the list, because part of the success is also to try different things, learn fast, but also fail fast. If something is not working, don't hold on to it, right? If it's not working, drop it, pick the next one, have an hypothesis-driven approach, and always have an alternate hypothesis. If the primary hypothesis does not work, go to your alternate hypothesis and start working on that, right? Don't fall in love with your solution. Fall in love with the problem of your customer, right? You'll always be on the right track if you fall in love with the problem of your customer.
We've heard that so many times, but it's just so difficult to apply because everybody's like, yes, fall in love with the problem, have this agile mindset. But when you're so focused in with your solution, you fall in love with it.
Yeah, no, I think so. A good quality of entrepreneur is that you need to have strong opinion, but they have to be loosely held, in the sense that if you see different data and if you see the future unfold differently, you should have the courage and the humility to give up on your strongly held opinion. So strong opinions about what you believe in, because if you don't have that conviction, you won't apply your 100%. But if you find that something is not working, your opinion should be loosely held, right? You should be able to change the opinion, and don't get married to something that is not working. I mean, move on and accept failure. Acknowledge the fact that you are wrong in your hypothesis and the data has proven it wrong. And I think in a scientific process, that is why you have an hypothesis, right? I mean, you believe in something and test it. If it doesn't work out, you move to something else. You don't assume that you know the truth. You wait for the right data and the market validation to prove itself out. I mean, you don't assume that you know it, right? So that's the beauty, right? And many people forget it. Sometimes they start feeling like, hey, they know it, right? And the market is saying all the other things, and they start ignoring it, and that is where they have like this selective perception of even reality, and that's not good, right? Because I mean, you can do that for some time, but over time, you can't ignore the market situation and market forces.
So did your time in East Timor like set your foundation of this mindset? Because I know that was a very strong experience that you had during your time at Wharton during the summer break, right?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of an unconventional move to go to East Timor and work for the country's development after it had gained independence. So I enjoyed it personally. I think both at a personal level and professional level. Of course, personal level, East Timor is like close to Bali. It used to be earlier part of Indonesia, became independent from Indonesia. It's an archipelago. It's a series of islands. So I think just the travel there is amazing, and I stayed there for a long time. So it was fun to be there. But more importantly, I saw things at the ground level, right? How it is, when a country is in shambles after a civil war and wins independence, and then you have to build all institutions at every level. Like you can't assume anything. You can't assume police, you can't assume utilities, you can't assume infrastructure. Nothing is working, right? There's barely an airport to even land, right? So that's the situation when you are in. Then you feel like, okay, how do you then think about your key problems? How do you work on it? How do you solve for it? What is core? What is peripheral? And that's similar to a startup as well. In any company or any startup, there are 100 things which are not working, right? I mean, and I think in a startup, it's more so that there's nothing there, right? If you're the founder, you're starting something from scratch. There's nothing there by definition. So you have to start picking up saying, okay, what is my number one priority? What's my core problem? What is critical to success? What are more of the peripheral issues that I can deal with later? So I think it allows you to that prioritize, problem solve, not panic, do like be very hustling, be entrepreneurial, figure out where the resources will come from. How do you build conviction? How do you sort of mobilize resources? I mean, all those things come together, right? I mean, in East Timor, it was more in a civil society setup and a sort of a nation building setup. In a startup, it is more like business oriented, customer mindset. But I think those early experiences in life do train you for bigger and I would say better problems in life.
With Fanory, you've built your MVP, you've launched it. How do you assess the success for your users? Like, what are the key metrics and indicators that you have to monitor and optimize?
Very good question, and I'm so glad you're asking it, right? So first of all, you have to define your customer. In our case, customer is a creator. So what's success for them? Success for them is in terms of, because we are promising monetization. The question we ask is, are you able to give them a predictable income every month? Like when they sign up and they start leveraging Fanory tools, can they estimate how much they will make every month? And does the platform help them earn that money every one month, right? And is that money going up month on month, right? So one is, of course, predictability of income, and so also an opportunity for growing their income, and that's the way we measure success, right? Are we able to do that or not?
Okay. And you have to also know the different social media platforms in and out to be able to actually like optimize and make sure that you're delivering for your customers, right?
Yeah. So essentially, our pitch is somewhat different. It says that we say that, okay, as a creator, you have to be on all social media platforms to leverage them for your marketing, distribution, discovery, and build a base of followers, right? But these platforms don't help you monetize, because you don't get paid to grow your followers, and these followers don't give you money. They give you likes and comments, but you can't feed yourself with likes and comments. You can't pay rent with likes and comments, right? You need real money, right? So what do you do? So what we say is that, okay, we will help you build your own personal digital destination where you can invite your super fans. So out of 1 million followers, your top 1% or top 0.1% would be a super fans. Invite them to your own app, to your own destination, and directly connect with them. Like get into a video call with them, get into sort of go live with them, do a DM with them. And there you can monetize every interaction. For example, you can say that I'm going live, and like if you're a singer, right, you can say that I'm going live tonight and I'm going to be singing, and I have a spot for 100 of my fans. Each spot is $10. So therefore, by going live at 9 p.m. on a single day, if they have 100 fans paying $10, they have made $1,000 on that one single day, right? So they can define what experience they want to provide. They can also define what price point they want to provide. and they can also choose who they want to provide. So they get all the control back. All these things are not possible on, say, Instagram, right? You can't make money by going live on Instagram. You can't sort of do a video call with your fan and say that a 10-minute of video call will cost you so much. For example, if you're a nutritionist, imagine that, or if you are a I would say gynecologist or a pregnancy expert, and expecting mother wants to consult with you. So you can have your own app using Fanory tools, and you can say that, hey, I can provide you advice as a parenting expert, and here is my charge. I mean, for 30 minutes of advice, I can give you a personalized advice. I can look at a situation. I can read all your reports. I can also look at how you sort of feel and what are you doing in a daily basis, and I can give you an advice which is very personal to you. Because generic advice is everywhere. You go to YouTube, there are hundreds of nutrition experts and wellness experts and yoga experts dishing out generic advice. But that is not useful to me because it's not personalized to my need. On the other hand, on Fanory, they can have their own app and they can have a one-on-one interaction with their, I say, customers or fans, and provide a very personalized advice for which they can charge for. And that's how they make money. So we have motivational experts using Fanory. We have yoga experts using Fanory. We have wrestlers using Fanory, giving out tips on wrestling. We have TV artists, movie artists, creative artists using it, because many fans want to talk to their favorite stars. So yes, they can do a video call with them for a price, and we make it very easy for them to make payment. Right? I mean, you create a wallet. You can load your wallet with any kind of UPI or credit card or any kind of international payment gateways as well, such as Stripe. And then once you have money in your wallet, it's like going to a gaming arcade, right? Once you load your card, you can go to any counter and play any game you want. You don't have to go and put an OTP or credit card. You just have to swipe it, right? The same thing happens here. You just click it and the money goes out of your wallet and you can get any experience you want across the entire ecosystem. So we have made it very simple. Not only we are able to collect payment, we can then also remit money back to the creator and also give them an accounting statement that can allow them to file taxes, stay compliant, do their bookkeeping. So anything that a creator needs, we provide them in a package. And that's what really makes the difference.
Wow, but like it's such a futuristic thought, and you're like looking ahead of the curve because we already have social media, and now actually making it relevant as not just a lifestyle, but as something they can pursue and become their own entrepreneurs and take charge.
Yeah, I mean, our tagline is turn your passion into profession, right? On social media, you are showing your passion, you are getting likes and comments, but then to do it full time, it has to be a profession. And the key quality of a profession is that it pays you enough to pay your bills and also support your family and also save for your retirement and your lifestyle, right? Where is that happening on social media today? It's not happening on social media, right? You're just out there hanging, but you're not making any money to to earn a livelihood. So we are making that possible, and that's what gives me so much, I would say, satisfaction, that I am enabling creators to do what they love in a way that they can live a livelihood. They don't have to depend on other people. They don't have to go do a job that they hate and do social media on the side. We say, okay, do what you want to do, and the money will come, and we will promise the money, and we will make sure that you earn enough money that you can quit your job and do this full time.
So, are you leveraging like contemporary technologies like blockchain and NFTs with your platform?
Yeah. So I would say the honest answer is no right now. But our view is that as we become more evolved, we will also start inviting creators to build NFTs for their craft and also start auctioning it and start giving it to their fans. We are in early days, so we are testing many prototypes and trying to figure out what will work. And that to us is something down on our roadmap, which we'll do in the near future.
Okay. How do you, just for the future, but how do you expect to teach your customers, the creators, about what NFTs are? Because if you're targeting a country like India, for example, a lot of people might not know the benefits or the challenges that come with NFTs. And so how do you plan to get over that threshold?
Yeah, so we will have to build a tool and a platform that makes a single click and super easy for a creator to do that. For example, if you're a singer, you can record your song and make it an NFT and a limited edition and sell it. And we can enable that creation. And we can also enable distribution and selling of that on a platform. So those things have to be worked out. If you are a painter, you can do an NFT of your painting and have a limited edition. Things like those are some of the ideas we have. But see, the whole NFT base was pretty hot last year. It has sort of died down. So we're also not in a hurry because, everyone is trying to figure out. So we say, okay, let's solve the here and now problem, which is how do we enable monetization for creators. And then these are additional layers of monetization that we can add, saying not only you can give experiences, you can also memorialize those experiences in NFT and let people own it forever and give them digital rights to your creation. So that's clearly on our roadmap, but I think we are not hurrying. We are not in a hurry to do that right now.
So tip for the audience, focus on your MVP, like your core features, and then add all of these.
Exactly, because you don't want to do too many things. You want to solve the core problem first, prove that it is really working, be able to solve, go from unit of 1 to unit of 10 to unit of 100, scale it up, and then add bells and whistles and other things, right? I mean, in my mind, the customer is not asking for NFT right now. They are saying, okay, I already have my fans. I already know how to monetize it, but I don't have a way to monetize them and make money. Can you help me do that? And that's where we are coming saying, yeah, here is all the tools that you need to make money from your fans and monetize your craft directly.
My last question for this podcast, and this is something all everybody asks all the time: networking. Networking is an essential skill for any professional, especially with entrepreneurship. So, what are some of the best practices and tips that you follow, and how have they evolved in your journey through PNG, McKinsey, Intuit, Flipkart, TXT, Twitter, all through and to now like Fanory? How do you leverage your network to find opportunities, partnerships, and resources?
Yeah, so I would think about networking in two ways, right? I mean, networking is of course important, but the way to think about it is that first is what you do to yourself and what you do with others, right? So a good networking is when you are very clear on what you stand for, what's your own brand, and what are you looking for in life, right? So many times people say, I want to network, I want to network, but they don't know they want to network for what reason, like what is it that they are solving for, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, you are clear that, hey, I am solving for this customer. So I want to network with people who may have access to those customers or may be in that ecosystem. Or if I want to do fundraise, then I need to network with investors, right? So first of all, you have to stand up for something. You need to know your own brand and your purpose, right? What do you really want to do? And second is what you do with others, right? So networking is basically it's not a one way, it's a give and take. It's a kind of a social capital that you build over time. So if you only think about, oh, what I can get from other people, your network won't last for a long time. In fact, it will be very transactional. But the way you have to think about this is that how do I add value to people I know? What can I do for them? How can I stand behind them? And the network then reciprocates, because then people will know that you're out there. So when you need something, it's just a tweet away or a WhatsApp away. And that's how I've been able to do my fundraise as well. I don't have to worry too much because there's enough people I know that I can just send them a WhatsApp saying, hey, I need the following help. And they will reciprocate because they have known me for years. We have been together. We have interacted at many conferences. I have been giving them advice, value-added advice. I have been helping them out when they needed help. So it's time for them to reciprocate. So that's how network becomes stronger. That it's like it's a function of what you give, uh, and also a, a, a track record of sort of what you do with them over time, right? So I think that's how I look at it. Like, because many times I look at people and say, hey, I want to go there because of network and sort of be able to ask for a job or ask for a fund. It doesn't happen that way because, the person on the other side is not a moron, right? I mean, you have to assume that that person is also smart enough, right? If you just show up at an event and say, I start asking, for them, they feel like, okay, this relationship is not going to work out and it's very transactional. You need to think about like, what's their mindset? What are they looking for? What would solve for their problem? And therefore, then what's a win-win between the two of you? I think you have to apply yourself slightly better and think about the win-win there. And those are really enduring and lasting relationships that really stand the test of time.
Thank you so much. Because so this is for my audience, but this is for me too. Because one day it's my dream that I start a startup as well. And so these snippets of insight, and you're sort of a mentor for these 30 minutes. And so learning from you, discussing all of these, it's been a real pleasure, Manish. Thank you so
No, it's a
much.
fun. I think it's fun to talk to someone like you. And I mean, we have known each other for many years now. So it's good to see that, you are reaching out and you are sort of, trying to create value for the entire ecosystem through this, I would say, this podcast and this show. Because I'm sure a lot of people will benefit by watching it. So I think those will then get connected to you and become your network. And those are the things that you should nurture over time, because you never know how you can help them even more and how they can help you when you need it.
Thank you so much.